Hey artists, today we're going to transfer our drawings to our foam plate so we can start creating reduction foam prints. At my table, I'm going to first take my foam plate and with a Sharpie really lightly write my name and art code. And I cap the Sharpie, put it away, and I'm going to flip over my plate. Next step, I will take my drawing and I'm going to line it up exactly to the foam plate. That way I know exactly where I can scratch into my plate. Once I have it lined up, I can take my tape and I can use one side of the tape and rub it to the top and then fold it over and tape it on the back. That way I have a place where I can lift my plate and check how I'm doing when I'm scratching into it. I started my drawing with pencil, and today I'm going to use a different colored pencil so I can see where I've already drawn. And when I'm drawing, I'm going to use pressure. I'm going to press a little bit hard, but not too hard. And I'm going to only draw the outline, also known as the contour. Say contour. I'm only going to draw the outline first because I want to wait to add the smaller details next time. So when I'm drawing, I'm going to press into the place where I drew the outline or the contour. And notice I'm using my other hand to make sure that my drawing is also staying in place. Only working on the contour. I can feel that when I'm pressing that I'm making a scratch into the plate underneath. Once I have just the outline, I'm going to lift to see how I did. I can see here that there's an impression where I pressed. I can go back into the place where I pressed and press a little bit harder so I can see it and I can feel that there's a place where I pressed. Once I'm all done, I can take my drawing off and I'm going to save it because I'm going to be using it to add the details in later. This is going to be our first step for our reduction foam plate. Now it's your turn. Hey artists, today I'm going to start my first step of reduction foam printing. I'm going to start my first prints. So I have my foam plate. And I have wipes. I have a tool that is a roller called a brayer that will help me roll the ink and it will also help me create the impression of the print when I make my prints. I also have my ink tray, say ink tray. I have tape rolls that will help me tape down parts that I need for today's printing. I also have a special brayer that has blue tape on it. This is the special brayer that I will keep clean so that I can help roll when I'm pressing my print. So I need to make sure this stays clean. I also have different colored paper today that I will be able to print on. Before I get my ink, I need to set up my printing station. So the first thing I will do is pick the papers I will choose to print on. I need to pick 4 papers. I need to pick, once I pick the papers, I write my name and art code on all of them. Once I have my name and art code on all of them, I'm going to start setting up for printing. I'm going to first take my ink tray and I'm going to tape it down to my poster. I can put pieces of tape on the corners here so I can make sure it's going to stay in place when I roll the ink out. Once I have the tape down in my tray so that it's staying in place, I can put my brayer on there so I'm ready. I'm also going to tape down my printing plate. This is the place where I'm going to roll the ink onto my plate, so I need to make sure it's down and in place. So I can take my tape and put it on the corners of my plate, put it in place. I want to keep it inside of the box because I want to keep this area clean. This is where I'm going to print today. I also have wipes because my assistant and my partner at my table is going to help me clean as I'm printing today. I'm going to pick one color that I'm going to print with today, and I'm going to get it onto my ink plate. First step I will do for printing is I will roll the ink onto my brayer. I have to listen very carefully for the sticky sound. When I hear the sticky sound, that means that I'm really getting all of the ink onto my brayer. Listen for that sticky sound. And I'm rolling it sideways and front to back to make sure I'm getting the ink all the way onto my brayer. Once I have my ink on my brayer, I'm going to roll it onto my plate. So I'm going to roll really carefully, and I want to make sure I'm getting all of my plate inked. So I can go back to my ink, roll out some more, and make sure I'm getting all of it inked. Now, I'm going to take my first paper for my first edition. I'm going to make sure my name is face down, because this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to line up the paper to the first corner here. Once I have my paper lined up, my assistant can help me to lift my printing plate and take the tape off to save. Once I have my plate, I'm going to carefully put it upside down and place it onto my paper exactly where I want it to go. I might want to think about making sure it's centered. Once it's down, I'm going to carefully press it with my hands. Okay, then I'm going to make a sandwich with my hands. So I'm going to press down here, I'm going to lift underneath and flip it like a pancake. Once I have it flipped, I'm going to take my clean brayer with the blue tape, and I'm going to apply pressure and roll my plate so that it is against the paper for my first edition. Once I have rolled it, I'm going to lift it up to see my first edition for my first print. This is my first print. My assistant will help me by putting this on the drying rack while I set up for my second print. Hey artists, today I'm going to continue my foam reduction print, and I'm going to be taking away the parts that I want to keep blue. I started printing first with the blue ink, and I'm going to take away the background part because I want to keep the background blue. I want to make sure the banana that I drew has the yellow peels and the white part of the banana, so I'm going to start by adding the details today. I'm going to take my drawing and I'm going to put it directly on top of my plate. I want to make sure it's lining up, so I'm going to use that tape at my table, and once I've lined it up as carefully as I can, I'm then going to tape with my tape 1/2 on the front and 1/2 on the back. I'm going to bend it over and make sure it's bent over on the back. That way I can now lift up and see where I started. I'm going to take a different colored pencil than the pencil that I started with, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to add the details on the inside. When I first start, I only want to do a little bit to make sure that I'm right where I left off. So I can see here that it's connected. Another way I could do this is I could have my drawing next to my plate and I could draw from observation, but it might not be exactly the way I started. So if I want to make sure I'm going exactly from my original drawing, I'm going to be tracing on top again, but this time drawing the inside parts. Once I have finished adding the details on the inside of my plate, I'm then going to be taking away the part that I want to keep blue. So what I will do is I can take my scissors and I can carefully cut out around the same contour line, also known as the outline, that I started with when I drew. So I'm going to cut really carefully and cut out just the part that I'm going to print again. Once I have my drawing with the background away, I then am going to flip over and make sure my name and art code is still there. If it's hard for me to read, I'm going to write it again really lightly with a Sharpie, my name and art code. Now I'm ready to print my next layer for my prints. Now it's your turn. Hey artists, I'm now ready today to print my second layer for my reduction foam print. I cut out the part that I wanted to keep blue. I started by printing first with blue. I'm going to print with a new color today. So at my table, I want to make sure my ink tray is taped down and that my plate is taped down. I'm going to use my ink and I'm going to roll it onto my brayer and back and forth, listen for the sticky sound. Once I have inked my brayer, I'm going to roll it carefully onto my plate. If I need more ink, I can go back to my ink tray and roll it really carefully. I want to make sure I'm rolling carefully because I don't want to break my plate. It can be really fragile right now, so I need to make sure I'm rolling real careful. I'm then going to take my paper, where I have printed already, and I'm going to carefully lift up my plate. My assistant's going to help me and make sure I'm being really careful. This part is when I'm going to take my plate and line it up to the place where I printed last. This is called registering. So I want to register and make sure that it's printing exactly where I want it to go. So once I have lined it up and registered it, I can take off the tape. And my assistant can help me to make sure that I'm not going to rip or break my plate. And I'm going to flip it over and use my clean brayer to apply pressure and roll my plate for my second layer of my print. I'm then going to lift it up to see my second print. Notice the texture that I drew on the inside has stayed blue too. So anywhere that I had pressed or taken away stayed blue. Now it's your turn to create your second layer of your reduction print. My print goes on the drying rack, and my assistant can help me so that I print my second layer on all 4 of my additions today. Hey artists, for my third layer of my reduction foam print, I want to think about the third color I might want to use. I know for my banana peel, I want to show the inside of the banana as white, but I want to leave the peels yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only take away and cut out the parts that I want to keep yellow. And I'm going to save the part I want to print again. Make sure my name and my art code is on the back of this, and I'm going to use this part to print for my third layer today. Hey artists, I'm going to take my third layer from my plate that I want to print in a new color, and I'm going to tape it down to my poster so I'm ready to print today. I'm going to think about the third color I would like to use for my print. And I'm going to be registering this third layer onto all of my additions. I'm going to roll out my ink and listen for that sticky sound. I'm going to roll it onto my third layer for my plate. Register it so that it fits exactly where I want it to print. Like a puzzle piece. Because it's so small, I might just want to press carefully and then lift. Or if I really want to make sure that it prints, I can flip it over, rub, and lift. Now I have my third layer for my reduction foam print. I want to print my third layer on all of my prints today. My poster goes on the drying rack, and any scraps go in the scrap bin. Now it's your turn.